Hey, there we go. Welcome to the stream. Lots of dangle clocks today from the looks of it. Well, just wanted to welcome everybody. And our first topic for today, as you saw by the thumbnail that I did, is coming back to the FDA and the PMTA process. Well, if you guys watched the 5 on Friday news that I had the other day, you saw that they're supposed to be announcing who filed for their PMTAs and what products are legitimately available and can be sold on the market. Unfortunately, the reality is that there really hasn't been much changes on it. And this isn't anything new for the FDA. I mean, we got cartoons like this. All I did was do a little search for FDA, and this is the kind of stuff that people have drawn cartoons about. It's all about, you know, pushing through the drugs because, you know, they have the money invested where it needs to be invested, and realistically, this is the kind of stuff that's already out there. So how about we actually go and we take a look at what they did publish? Because they did do something. If we take a look at the FDA's website, you can take a look on August total. The last time I looked at this, the total for August was 765, I believe. Well, August, they received 10,184 PMTA applications. And as I've been right on stuff before when it comes to this stuff, they don't even have a count for September because they received so many applications by the deadline that they're not even done counting them yet. Some of these ones were accepted, but then classified as refused to file, simply because they were missing something in their application process. Whether it be insufficient listing of ingredients or additives, whether the description of the methods they used to control the manufacturer were detailed enough or not, these are applications that were simply thrown out. And what products technically are legal to be sold in this country today? The only ones that have been added to it is Moonlight Menthol. Other than that, we still have IQOS and Swedish Match North America's snus. That's the only thing that has changed on the FDA's website regarding PMTAs. Pretty sad, but unfortunately that's the reality. It's going to take a long time for this bureaucracy to get around to doing what it's legally obligated to do. And who knows when we'll actually get an updated list of what is legal to be sold in the United States. But such is life. We're going to keep getting the stuff. Vape shops still have the things. And at some point in time, somebody's going to get around to going, oh, maybe we ought to, like, you know, let these people know what's legal and what's illegal. But that's the way it goes. All right. So today we are doing a build stream. And for today, I have for you guys the Kylin Mini V2 and the Kylin II. Now, both of these were described as being the best of the best when they came out. The Kylin II was the best for 2018 in a lot of people's votes. And the latest review that I saw with the Kylin Mini V2 said that it was the best of the best for that. So let's jump over real quick and take a look at a couple of the descriptions for each of these things. Well, here's the Kylin Mesh. This is the one I originally started with a long time ago. And it was a very nice tank. However, getting him a dry hit on mesh is the worst ever. So the best thing you can do is to go with standard coils. And the Kylin II improved the airflow that was going to a set of dual coils. But because of the way that it was designed, it could be used as a big single coil tank. So we're going to build it today and see what it's really like. Sometimes that's the only way to find out what is good and what isn't. So we've got the Kylin Mini V2. That is just recently released onto the marketplace, and it's supposed to offer 270-degree airflow, kind of like Bogan's Blotto. Now, I really love the Blotto. However, the airflow on it is very restrictive. I'm curious to see how this tank is going to compare to the Blotto. Which one's going to have the best airflow and which one's going to have the best flavor? Because there's been plenty of reviews on this product. Look at the Kylin Mini II. Twisted420 posted a video and he says this is the new flavor king. Now granted, this was posted back in 2018. However, it's supposed to be one of the most highly rated tanks. And we've got Mike Vapes. What do he have to say about it?
Obviously, fully open on this. Build is a 0.17, and I have it at 90 watts. Fully opens a lot of airflow, and I'm vaping it at 90, and that's like not enough in my opinion. I'm gonna put it at 100 watts. You guys can hear the airflow. Airflow is on the louder side. Now, when the tank is on a mod, the airflow control ring is perfect. It doesn't have that very loose that it feels when it's not on a mod.
3 days ago,
Vandy Vape RTAs to me are usually a miss as opposed to hit. The RTAs though, the Revolver, the Kylin Mini, the Kylin V2, I wasn't a big fan of the Pisces, I think it was called, the other one that was kind of in between there. I know that they've done a couple other RTAs as well. It's just that the Kylin series, for whatever reason, really shines and prevails for me.
Feels a little smoother, and
roughly know what other tanks are coming out for the rest of this month and possibly for the 1st of December. Now, there is companies out there like Geek Vape and a few others that keep the marketing very, very quiet and don't mention anything about any of their releases until a week before launch. I'm talking about the companies that have already released marketing for their rebuildable tanks that are coming out before the best of 2018 cutoff. Right now, this is the best tank of 2018.
Yep. He said that was the best tank of 2018. And I am definitely looking forward to getting my hands on this and finding out for myself. Is it really as good as what everybody says? Well, let's jump into it and let's see what this thing is capable of producing. I am excited to see what this thing is capable of doing. So as usual, I'm gonna throw some music on. And let's get to building this tank. Is it really as good as everybody says it is? I mean, I know it's not the newest tank in the world, but I don't care how new it is or how old it is. If it can produce great flavor and a great vape, I want to experience it. And as usual, tanks that sit in the box for a long time are very, very tight. The O-rings dry up, and there we have it. Grab a build stand. And let's take a look and see if we can get this top cap off, because it's not going to do us any good if we build it and can't fill the tank. Always a dangle clack. Well, that's going to be a problem, especially because it's a slide top. That's how much I'm paying attention today. However, let's put a little drop of juice on this, because it did not want to slide. As much as I was moving it around, you would think that this would move easier. All right. Grab a paper towel. And we'll take a look at how this performs. Now, I know I saw a mark on here. There. What else we got in the box? If I remember correctly, it should come with a set of coils. Yes, Mike Vapes did say that it had too much airflow at wide open for the coil that he got with it. So, what do we have here? Triple fused Clapton coils, 28. Triple wrapped with 38. Nichrome 80, 0.4. And it says it's at 6 wraps. Well, let's pop these in there. Because theoretically, if they include a set of coils with your tank, it should be the ideal set of coils for what they give you. Is that true all the time? No. Just like these grub screws. Are they the best quality? Probably not. But will they get the job done? Well, let's hope so. Okay, little prep. That's a 1.5 millimeter. I want to thank Mike Vapes because he put a link in his description for this tool. And man, am I glad I picked this thing up. Because that is a lot easier to do than using one of these little things. All right, so they have it marked at 5 millimeters. Let's get these things snipped down to length. And I think I'm going to do my little prep on this. Simply because I like to keep it simple and drop them straight down in so you don't have to mess with it once it's in there. As you can see, there's a set on the right and a set on the left. Something I noticed a lot of other people when they do these reviews and stuff, they always use their own tools. And while you can have your own tools, for somebody that just getting started in vaping, sometimes you need somebody to show you how to do it with what is included in the package. So, using what was included and cutting it to length, that looks like it's going to be really nice. Let's do the same thing with the other one. Throw a little bend in it. And if you didn't have one of these Coil Master tools, you could just as easily use a screwdriver to get this in there. All right. Tighten that down. We'll tighten this down. And it doesn't look like I have them set to the same height, so I might have to make a little adjustment. What do you think? Too close together, huh? No? Yes? Go just out a hair so we can have some airflow through it. All right. Now I get finally a chance to try out this build stand. I've been using the other one for quite some time, but I picked this thing up for clearance. And I think it's going to be pretty cool to throw this on there and see how she ohms out. .15. So far, so good. Ooh, got some hot spots to take care of. Yeah, that's really nice. Cool. Let's take a look at throwing some cotton in this. You know what, Mowgli? I haven't tried the Zeus X. I have it on the shelf behind me, but I never really had an opportunity to try it yet. I think that's a little too loose. Yes, there are 3mm coils that it came with. That one's got some nice resistance to it. All right. So far, so good. Get rid of my little floof balls before they end up in my coffee. That wouldn't be good. See how that looks. That's going to be too long. And I know I'm going to have to rake this out because the juice wells on that are pretty small. They should have included smaller coils with this. There isn't a whole lot of room for air to get by these coils. Let me come down a little closer. So let's thin this out, make sure everything that we have is parallel, and we may need to do a bow tie method to get the cotton down in there without choking it out. Check the length, clean up this ends a little. Trying the Vic method. Come in from underneath, tuck the ends down, do a little bit from one side, do a little bit from the other side, and work your way up as you keep putting the cotton down in there. You want an equal share from the right coil and from the left coil, or going to be a dry hit because it won't be able to keep up. One thing I was impressed with when he did his review, he cranked that sucker way up. I don't know if somebody gave him some flack about the way that he puts the cotton into his coil or what, but almost done. And we'll come in behind it just to make sure that the cotton isn't laying on the deck. Because if the cotton's laying on the deck with all those airflows that are underneath here, it's going to leak. Alright, how about this side? Let's comb her out. Big floof balls. But I know all these strands go all the way up to the coil. Need a little more off. I don't know why. Sometimes I find this one just works better. Yeah, it does. It is a very fiddly tank because they didn't leave very much room for cotton. And with it being a dual coil, you want to make sure you have equal number or equal amount of cotton from one side and the other. And to be honest with you, this one is still too much, so I'm going to have to shave some of this off. Because it is getting kind of full in here. The proportions on this are not quite as good as it should be, I don't think. How's it vape? Well, the only way to find out is to juice this thing up and give it a try. But before I do that, I think it's time to go ahead and take a look at a new mod. Well, new to me. I know this isn't definitely a new mod. This is definitely not a new mod. However, it is still being sold on Asmodus' website. It's the Lustro. Now this one is supposed to have touchscreen control options, and you're supposed to be able to wave at it with motions. So let's open it up, throw a set of batteries in there, and see how complicated this thing actually is. Any of you out there have this mod? USB-C. Looking good so far. Push up, they say. That's a good thing too, because I know some people that just jam these batteries in there. And when they jam them in there, you'll skin the wrap. Well, the offset from the front, let's take a look at the steam crave on there, just to see how she fits. And you do have a slight bit of overhang on the front with the steam crave. Unlike when it's sitting on here, it literally goes all the way to the edge. Now, to be fair, the glaze is actually 31 millimeters, so I'm trying to think. I don't think I actually have a 30 millimeter. The glaze is 31. Yeah, I don't. Well, that's not good. It's because I was paying attention to the push-up stickers but didn't notice the polarity. I really wish it was a requirement for these mods to be marked using white paint. And I'm going to get myself a white paint marker so that I can mark them myself. Married batteries without damage only. Well, that's a good message to put on there. Yes. Wow, that's beautiful. Slide to unlock. What was the resistance on this? 0.2 after being fired. So let's transfer this over. Look at that. Little plastic to keep it from getting dirty. If touchscreen works properly, you don't have to be afraid of it. This one here, the Smock Mag P3. Now that other one that's over there, what I ended up with? 70,000, 80,000 puffs on it. And I never had a problem with the touchscreen on this device. Whether I'm gonna love this one as much or not, I don't know. But then again, it's one of those things that I bought on clearance. Just for the sake of consistency, I'm going to use my Salty Man Purple Rain on here because I know what it tastes like. Slide to unlock. Turn those up. There we go. That is 66 watts. Nice. Let's get the top on. Find our slider. And it's one of those, you got to pull the drip tip to get the bottle to fit properly. Okay. Let's turn that down because I have the airflow wide open. It's showing up on here at 0.21. Let's go down to 50 just to start with. Start on the low end and always work your way up. A lot of vapor, but 50 isn't giving any warmth. Let's try 56. Wow. Let's take a look at the... Which one's this? Alex Vapors. Vape Destiny. And then we have our Kylin. I'm getting more flavor out of the Kylin than I did out of the Destiny. And that's with the airflow wide open. Let's take the advice of Mike Vapes and turn down this airflow on the bottom. Does it? Yeah, I should have looked at that O-ring too. Because it is dried up like the other ones. Drop of e-liquid while it's closed. And let's lube that up a little bit. Wipe off the excess, wipe off our mod, wipe off my little drip. Yeah, Mike does like his restricted. Close that off a little more. Go about halfway. That's actually more than halfway. And let's compare it to his intake dual. This, with it wide open, almost. That's as open as I can get it. Is even more restrictive than this one. But the flavor is really good on this. No question about it. Let me open it up. It does get a little whistly. And let's compare that to the bulk. This is the bulk on the UL Iron Fist. I've been finding myself using this more and more. And the Rebirth. Wide open, this thing is making a crap ton of vape. Let me turn this airflow down. And let's see if we can get it the same as the Rebirth. Now that's the Rebirth. And let's see if you can see through there. That's wide open. The Rebirth wide open is equal to the Kylin only a third of the way open, maybe between a third and a half. I'm gonna have to put a new set of cotton in this thing because I was thoroughly impressed with the Rebirth when I built it, and it isn't producing as much flavor as the Kylin V2. Wow. You know, after building all these different ones, I'm going to have to take and create an Excel chart, because everybody seems to do end of the year top RDAs, top RTAs, top stock tanks. But you're right, Mowgli. The airflow is too restricted for what I typically like. Oh my goodness, more dangle clacks. So turn that on. Turn that on and turn this off. And I'm just batting 1,000 today. There. Let's open that up a little more. Open it up all the way and let's turn up the wattage. That's at 55. Take it up to 65. I don't like the controls on this Lustro. .65 is a little too warm for me, I think, even with the airflow wide open. Turn it down just a hair. Let's go to 60. Everybody has their own personal preferences on temperature, airflow, and to find something that provides just the right airflow for you at just the right wattage and just the right temperature, it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. However, for me, it's 60 watts. Now, this is reading 0.21 ohms. That is a very, very flavorful vape. And I'm curious to see if I have any leaking issues with this tank. But that is a beautiful vape. That just tastes amazing. Mowgli, for you, my next one, I'm gonna build the Zeus X. I've got it sitting on the shelf, right there, in that stack of Geek Vape stuff. I'm gonna have to give it a try. Did it come with coils? Or did you have to put them in yourself? And it's not that loud. Let's see, what do I have here? A loud and whistly tank would be the TFV9. Let me grab a TFV9. I'll throw that. Now, this is a problem I've had with the TFV9, and this is the reason why I haven't done a traditional review on this. When I got it in the box, it came with a coil that was bad, and I had to fiddle with it to get it to work. And now here I am, once again, I have to fiddle with it because when I tighten it onto here, it says no atomizer. For some reason, the leg that they put on the bottom of this coil just isn't working. So I'm gonna have to break open the set of coils I bought for this and see if I can get this thing working, because it's been nothing but a problem. And I can't advocate somebody go out and buy the TFV9 despite the fact that it's Baby Beast compatible, backwards compatible, if the coils that they're putting out don't have enough quality controls to verify that it's going to work for you every time you pick it up. When I do my Odan coils, speaking of which, this is something I wanted to do on today's vlog. I finally got in. Let me pull this down. All right, I finally got my candy cane flavored juice that I originally used to quit smoking. And here we go again. See what that says? 0 milligram. Why do they have to put 0 milligram on a bottle and then in the front of it put a warning for nicotine? 0 milligram means that there is no nicotine in this bottle. I do not understand why they do that. That's just beyond me why they go about doing that. But I've been so curious to find out if I take this juice and I put it into something that became my all-day device because I enjoyed the airflow combination so much for it to be the device that I used all the time before I started building all these. What's it going to be like when I put the juice that was good enough to get me to quit smoking? What's that flavor going to be like? Well, we're going to find out today. Because I cleaned my tank and I'm going to pop a new coil in there. I love this Aspire Odan. With the bubble glass, it holds so much fluid that I can go most of the day without having to refill it. So I only need to fill it one time. Let's see what candy cane tastes like in the Aspire Odan. Well, now comes the horrendous part of having to wait. So while we're waiting for that, I think it's time for us to build the Mini V2. Let me move my stuff off to the side. Let me take this down. I'll hit pause on that. And we're going to switch back over to take a look and see what they said about the Mini V2.
Well, so much so that the Kylin Mini version 2 RTA.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting pretty sick.
What did Jay have to say about it?
New 53 watts, putting at 5.59 volts. Okay, so we're working good. We are. We're working good. I feel like the best RTA in the past year, maybe 8 months, I'd have to say is the Destiny. I think it's an absolutely phenomenal piece. And of course, that's not Vandy Vape, that's Hell Vape. But this isn't terrible. You know how much I hate bubble, but it does give you a straight barrel. Of course, you're going to reduce the amount of juice capacity that you can hold. But I don't think that this is that fantastic. I'm not a big fan of that look with all the ports. I much prefer the original rendition that has the airflow on the bottom. But the problem with that is if you build it wrong, you're going to have juice all over your mod.
Small hole,
Let's see what Vic has to say.
For the actual juice intake leading up to the deck surface. And the idea is what you do, like what I've done down in the table cam, is you get your cotton and you lay it out, you lay it down along that valley, flatten the cotton out, and the bottom of the cotton is seen through this juice intake hole. Now, the wicking that I showed you down on the table cam will work perfectly for most of the mass-produced e-liquids on the market. We're looking at liquids that are generally 70 to 75 VG. They're a lot thinner than the max VG juices. Thing is, when I popped the peach custard in here, which is practically 90 VG, I started getting dry hits on this. And what I had to do is re-wick it, but instead of having the cotton go all the way down to the base, cut it short. So it wasn't going all the way down to the base, but it was going halfway down the valley, which...
So, if we're using max VG, like the Awesome Town, we're going to have to compensate for it. However, the Salty Man that I use is only 65% VG. So, we should be good if we're using that. What did Mike say? Oh, this is about the Lustro. All right. Well, looks like we're going to have to give this a try for ourselves and see which one we like better. Is it going to be the Kylin version 2? Or is it going to be the Kylin Mini version 2? All right. We'll start the music up again. give this a try. Kylin Mini version 2. Green and gold box. Twist on. Quit smoking on juice. I never heard of that brand. I don't think I've ever seen anybody ever talk about how you need to put juice on your O-rings to get them to go. This is pretty interesting though. It does turn. The deck does turn. So if I put this on a mod, it should work. Time to open up the pink one. Asmodus LUSTRO. That is definitely hot pink. Let's see if we can do this the first time around. Push down, get her to sit. That is a beautiful pink. So this does turn with it all the way screwed down. We have in the box another coiling tool. And in the bottom of the box, we do have a set of coils. Fuse Clapton, 24 gauge, wrapped in 32. Canthal A1, supposed to ohm out at 0.3 ohms. Now this, I do remember a lot of people saying that the problem with this, I think Steve even mentioned this, that the wrap that they put on here is made for machine wraps. And the reason that it's made for machine wraps and not for people that make their own is because when you twist this clockwise, it tightens the cap onto the base. If you tried to twist this the other way, the bottom is going to come off of your coiling tool. Now, the original version of the Mini had a post hole in the middle and a post hole in the middle. And why they changed it to offset this way and this way, I don't know. And I can't fathom why they would do something like that. Hi, Jack. Thanks for stopping by. there's our coil, and it only goes in one way. So we need to make sure that we have this dropping down offset like that. And if you notice, it is backwards from what you're used to as far as the twist that they put on this. If you were to try and make this, you'd need a different tool because this one just isn't going to work for you. So you're forced to buy manufactured coils that already have that on there. Well, let's give this a little snip. Drop these things in there and find out what they're really like. Came with Allen screws. I'm gonna have to find the link to these products on Amazon. I'm not an Amazon affiliate, but I'm gonna put the links in the description because I love using this tool. All right, so if we put it there and take a look at how much space we have next to the coil there's no way that this is going to get 270 degree airflow. I think this would benefit by shortening the leads on these coils a little bit to drop that a little bit lower into there. Because if you want 270 degree airflow, you're going to need to have this coil below the height of those holes. And right now, the top of the coil is above the top holes that are on here. So, as much as I don't like doing this, I'm going to have to take it upon myself to shorten these leads. Because I want to make sure we maximize the airflow. That's 6. Let's go to 5.5. Just 0.5 millimeter would at least bring the top of the coils in line with the top holes on that airflow. Look, just 0.5 millimeter. Dropped it down low enough that now I know that the space isn't all the way equal. However, because this is wide open from underneath, I see this being a much better height for this coil. Just 0.5 millimeter shorter than what they originally said. Am I right? Am I wrong? Well, I guess I'll find out once I finish getting this set up. Needs a little bit of a tweak. Get it straight. Ohmed out of 0.24. It's at 0.3. Let me turn this up some more. Not too shabby. Still get a little bit. Cool. That worked out very nicely. We'll let that cool off a minute. And for some reason, the chat isn't working properly. Thanks for stopping by, Mowgli. I appreciate that. Okay, let's prep some cotton. See how this thing wicks and vapes. Well, that's too much. Excuse me, that's too much cotton. There we go. Okay, grab my scissors, snip there, snip there. I can save that one for later. Get my tweezers. And these ones should lay down just like this. So, I guess we need to juice it up. That ought to work. So we take our tweezers, make sure we don't have anything that's going to get caught on the threads. And if I remember correctly, when I looked at the website, that was one of the things that they were pushing about this coil or this tank, is that you can literally just drop your tank right on it, lines up with those slots, okay. Filled up, wicked. Turn the wattage up on this, because 40 watts is not going to work. This ohms out at 0.25 ohms. And let's give her a shot at 63 watts and see what she vapes like. Loss of vapor production. But that flavor isn't quite there. Let's turn the wattage up, because that's still a little cool. Let's go up to 75 watts. Turn it up even more. Let's go to 80. I'll keep turning this up until I get some heat out of it, and then back her off a little. Wow. Turn it down some. Down to 75. Not enjoying the flavor. $65. Let's turn down the airflow. Let's go halfway with the airflow. Nope. You know what? Jay Hayes was right about this tank. I'm just not getting any flavor, at least not with the coils that came in this thing. It's ohming out at 0.25, running at 65 watts. Even with the airflow half open, I'm just not getting much flavor with it. Taking a look at the Kylin II. A lot more airflow. And a lot more flavor. That is so much better. The Kylin 2 is so much better than the Kylin Mini version 2. I'm just not getting flavor out of this one. And it might be as simple as changing the coils out. This one's gonna have to go on my to-do list. I need to find the right set of coils for this to optimize it, because the coils that came with it do not produce the flavor that everybody, well, not everybody, the coils are not producing the flavor that Vic says this tank can produce. And after I stop vaping this one, I hear the juice inside of here sizzling away. So the ramp up time on the coils that came with this is just too much. I might have to do like I did with Bogan's tank with the Blotto. If I do like I do with the Blotto and put smaller coils in this that have a much faster ramp up time, or if I do like I did in the Rebirth to maximize flavor, I bet I can get some good flavor out of that. But I'm not getting it with those tanks, with the coils that came with that kit. Where's my other tank? My other Rebirth. I gotta try it out. I'm sorry. I know that this stream has been going on for a long time, and I appreciate those of you that have stuck around. But when you want flavor out of a vape, sometimes you got to search for it. Sometimes you have to play with what you put in it. And you need to find the perfect set of coils for that tank. Yep. The Kylin Mini needs smaller coils. The 3mm coils that came with this just have too much mass. Lots of airflow, but it doesn't produce the flavor. Jay Hayes was right. And something I'm already noticing, if you take a look at the bottom of this, there's already just a little tiny bit of juice seeping out of the bottom of this tank. Yep. Look at that. It's not a lot, but if you were to let this sit, how much would you get? Right around that center pin is where it's leaking from. It's not even about how much cotton is in there. That center pin is gonna have to sit for a while with the juice, and hopefully it'll swell up a little bit. Just enough to stop this tank from leaking through that center pin. Now I know this isn't a brand new tank. I mean, this thing came out maybe 6 months ago, 9 months ago. And who knows with COVID how long this thing sat in their warehouse before they actually released it. But that's gonna have to sit on a build stand. And I'm gonna have to come back to it. Because it just isn't right. So the Kylin Mini V2 is on my to-do list. Hey Cheech, thanks for stopping by. Well, Mike Vape's Rebirth. Lots of flavor. Put the right coils in it, you'll get lots of flavor out of it. The Destiny is another one on my project list because it does not produce as much flavor as the Kylin II, nor does it produce as much flavor as the Rebirth does. And everyone says this is such a great tank. I don't care how much you crank the wattage up on it. The more you crank the wattage up on it, the more it crackles. And the more it crackles, the worse the airflow is on it. Let me get rid of the music for a second. I want you to hear the airflow on this. And that is at 70 watts. At 70 watts, I get decent flavor, but the airflow is just turbulent. That's why I said this is a discombobulated tank. If you turn the wattage down, the crackling goes away. Well, not totally. Let's go to 55. The crackling settles down, but then you're not getting enough flavor. So, I definitely learned something today. I can see why the Kylin II was the best tank of 2018. Lots of flavor with the stock coil that came with it. I'm ohming at 0.21, 60 watts. And it is a flavor banger. Is it as much as the Blotto? Almost as much flavor as the Blotto has. But it's got a lot more airflow than the Blotto. That's my only complaint about the Blotto, is it doesn't have as much airflow as a lot of these other tanks do. My favorite tank, or is quickly becoming my favorite tank, is the Bulk. Vape and Fagan made the Bulk. And this tank, you got to look at this thing overhead. This thing has got a huge drip tip on the top of it. Compare that with the drip tip that's on the Blotto. The outer diameter of the Blotto is the same size as the diameter for the Bulk. However, the inner diameter, I dare say this one is smaller than the Bulk. So I get a lot more airflow through the Bulk than I do that. Let alone the fact that the Blotto has little tiny honeycomb airflow, whereas the Bulk has a slot for the airflow. So yes, this is a louder tank. However, it's smooth. Buttery smooth airflow. As Rip Trippers would say, smooth as a porn star's ass. But it is true. The Blotto has buttery smooth airflow, but is very, very restrictive. And is definitely a flavor banger. I get flavors out of the Blotto that I don't get out of the Bulk. Not much, but enough. Well, that completes the build on both of these. The only thing I have left to do is to try out my candy cane flavored e-liquid. That is an awesome town sauce. That's what I use to quit smoking. And despite what the front of the label says, this is a 0 milligram product. What's the flavor going to be like? Well, only way to find out is to try it. Wow. That is unbelievable. Candy cane flavored e-liquid is what worked for me. That's the flavor that got me off of cigarettes. It got me to quit smoking. It got me to forget what a cigarette was. If I would have had that candy cane flavored e-liquid on my Aspire Odan, I doubt that I would have had the 3 days of craving cigarettes. I doubt I'd even have a full day of craving cigarettes because the flavor on this is so good. Coming from somebody that used to smoke Marlboro menthol lights, this is unbelievable. Because it has nothing to do with cigarettes, nothing to do with tobacco. But it still has that slight cooling sensation, the peppermint. And a little bit of chocolate. Perfect. I'm glad for the holidays coming right around the corner because I'm definitely going to have to get some more of this juice. As much as I love my salty man Purple Rain, this candy cane is way better. At least for me it is. Everybody has their own favorite flavor. You need to find what works for you. And once you do, you'll never go back to smoking. Never. Wow. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today, unless you guys have something that you want me to answer, questions, comments. Alrighty. I'll give a couple seconds here for chat to catch up. Got any questions, Jack? Anything? Well, that's going to call it for quits for today. I appreciate you guys coming out and watching. Just a quick recap. Today we built the Vandy Vape Kylin version 2. It is an unbelievable flavored tank. I understand why it was the best of 2018. We also built the Kylin Mini V2, and it just isn't producing the flavor with the stock coils that came with it. So I'm going to find a better set of coils for that tank, and you'll see a video on the channel one day showing you what's going to be the best set of coils for that tank. That wraps it up for me for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. As always, my message to you is keep on vaping. It got you off of cigarettes and deadly combustible cigarettes that kill you one day. Vaping is at least 95% safer than smoking deadly combustible cigarettes. Keep on vaping.